Howdy, last winter I fitted 2 upgrades to my diesel heater. 1 for the intake to quieten it down a little, and 2 to the exhaust, which we've still got on there and it's working well, but we might experiment with that a little bit more. Today we're going to be making some upgrades to both ends. Wow, when I say upgrades, we're going to test if they actually are, because we've bought 2 products. So one of them is one of these newfangled pumps that they say is super quiet. It's got a built-in filter. We'll talk about that a bit more. And then I've got the mother of all intake filters here that we're going to fit to the diesel heater end. Before I've got going, I have benchmarked the sound that both make. So the existing pump that came with my diesel heater and the induction filter that I put on last year. So that's our benchmark. Now that's not the only thing that we're going to measure today, because I think the filter that I've got to go on is actually going to create better airflow. So we'll see. And I want to talk a little bit about the ergonomics of the pump that we bought here, because I'm in 2 minds about it already, but I'm going to try and give you like an honest review. Okay, so first thing to point out, this thing costs 19 quid. So taking out of the box, at first glance it looks like a normal diesel heater metering pump, and you can see on here that it's from 1 to 5 kilowatts, 22 millilitres. But on the bottom of the one that I've bought, it's got an inbuilt filter. It's pretty robust by the looks of it. And I got it because it was cheap. It was cheaper than buying a metering filter on its own, and I wanted to change the filter anyway. Just a couple of observations that I want to make on this. I think this is good because it could save space. This seems pretty robust as well, because the ones that you normally get with them are pretty cheap. So I like that. What does concern me though is if that failed, so this filter here, it would mean that the pump's rendered basically useless. So the jury's out really on whether this is going to be good or not. What I will say is that you can take the bottom of it off, you can clean it out like you would a normal metal filter, and it's double filtered. So the bonus of having this is you've got a filter basket like you would normally, and then you've got a filter in the end here as well. So it's almost like double filtering it. Has a little magnet in it as well, just to catch any sort of debris or guff that might be in your fuel tank. So that's the anatomy of it. Now they say that this is super quiet. So we've got the benchmark of our existing one here, and I'm just going to swap over and show you a couple of tricks that I've picked up along the way of how you can do that without making hopefully too much mess. My fuel pump is underneath the van, so for all its purposes it doesn't bother us really at all that it's in the van, and the ticking that we hear is quite minimal. But like I said, I wanted to change the filter anyway, and I saw this product, so I thought I would change it. The first thing I will say is that hose clamps at this stage could be your friend. If you don't have one, because I don't, I'm just going to pop my mold grips on the end of the input part of my fuel pump, and then that way hopefully no fuel, well, less fuel will leak out when I'm undoing it. And then the second thing that I've got, which I'm going to show you in a minute, is this thing to prime my pump. But let's get the old one off. So like I said, it's hung underneath at the moment, and I've got it hung off a piece of hose to just cut down on that tick tick ticking sound resonating through the bottom of the van. Got a bit of rubber hose on the end here, 4mm diameter. I usually use it to fill up the filter with fuel, so you don't have to prime or over prime your diesel heater, hence running it dry. With this, it's much more difficult actually. So I've popped it on the end of the pump itself, and obviously it won't pull it through there because it just won't, because the pump is closed. So I've had to try and fill the basket as much as I can on the filter, and I'm gonna go and prime it. So again, another down thumb really for the design on that, although it's not the end of the world. Lots of people prime completely their pump whilst it's dry, but I don't like doing that. So yeah, anyway, let's go prime it, which is a simple process. Okay, so I primed it, started it up, and I've got an EO8 error, which basically means lack of fuel. So I think I might have a little bit of air in the lines. I'm just going to prime it once more, and then we should be hunky-dory to give it a test. But yeah, I didn't have this when I changed the filter without it, so I'm hoping this is going to be much quieter. Otherwise it's a completely failed experiment, to be honest. still hear it, but it is a lot quieter. I think the proof really, I mean, I'll put a decibel meter down there now, but the proof really will be, I know what it sounds like when I'm walking around the van or when I'm in the van. I can hear it. So I might do like a little walk around and go in the van and just see what the difference is. It's definitely quieter though. Just ramping up to full speed now. Still hear that tick, 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 but it's so much quieter. It sounds less metallic in a way. Get a decibel meter out. Well, you can see on there is a few lower, but some chopper over there is using a chainsaw, so it's really hard to kind of tell. I'm gonna have a quick walk round. It's definitely quieter. I can barely hear it now over the actual heater itself. See if we can hear it in the bus. I could definitely hear it in here before, like with the old pump. I could just about hear it now. It's barely nothing. So, you know, 19 quid, I guess make your mind up, but it is definitely quieter. Still not sold on the whole filter being on there. I think you can buy them to screw on, screw off, so there is that. But I still think I might go for the version where it was separate and have my own filter on there too, which I'll put a link to both down in my bio. Let's get on to testing this massive air filter that I've bought. I installed this guy last year. It served us really well. It's looking a bit battered from being under the van, but overall the filter looks fairly clean. I still like to change them every year, so I have found a new design that wasn't available last time. You can see how big this thing is. Take a look at this thing. So this guy in here has got like the biggest filter that I think I've seen that's available for a diesel air heater. Basically what you've got here is the intake at the bottom and a little relief valve there to let any moisture out, and then you've got inside a massive air filter with a huge surface area. Then on the top you've got the intake where that comes in. See that there? Essentially what I'm going to do is screw this underneath my van. So this is huge, this is not going to be practical for most people, but I thought I'd give it a go. Now, before you go running off and buying one of these or looking at the prices of them, they're so new that they vary wildly. So on Amazon, they're going for like 20-25 quid. Do not pay that for it. So I went on eBay and made an offer, and I got this one for £9.50 delivered, which wasn't much more than what I paid for that yellow one last year. And you might even get luckier than that. Just be cheeky with your offers if you wanted to go and buy one. I'll put the link in the bio, but let's get it fitted and see, first of all, if it's even worth it. Looks cool though. Looks like something that you'd find in Max Power back in the 90s. Absolutely ridiculous. Fair play. That's ridiculously big. It's not going to be suitable for most fans, I will say that. Let's fire it up. This one's made no difference to the sound at all. So don't buy it because of that. But what I will say is that the heater's running really nicely. But I think I would stick with one of them yellow dealies if I were to change it again next year. It's under there now, fitted up nicely. That's two things that I've tried on diesel heater. Now, most of the noise does come from the exhaust, and we've got underneath the van quite a big one that we fitted last year, and you can watch that in a video up here. Next trick for the diesel heater, coming in the new year, we're going to be fitting an EGR cooler to the exhaust. I'm going to be rigging that up to actually run a set of pipes underneath the van to keep my tanks from freezing, and I've got an idea for that. The experiment's going to be out soon, so hope you can join me on that one. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, and watch some more of my videos up here. Until next time, take care.